G'day friends and fans, welcome to Tabletop News. I'm your host, the author David Applegate. And as normal, as this is my favourite site, I start with it first. The bundle of holding enables you to get into role-playing at an interesting price, to say the least, where you buy bundles at a major discount, though mostly on a time limit offer, and in a narrow range of usually high fantasy with some sci-fi thrown in. Now, not every major RPG is represented, but at least you have Traveller and Shadowrun. Boy, pardon me. Alright. But of course, just because you don't get a major RPG all the time, although for once we have two, though it's probably happened before, like Forged in the Dark. I'm not going to predict what's coming, but there is probably going to be an exciting year for tabletop, with all the Kickstarters from 2020, from the 2020s through, starting to appear on Bundle of Holding. So we should see some more of the Kickstarters that people missed out on appearing on Bundle of Holding, hopefully. Knock wood. And of course, kicking off today is the Old Gods of Appalachia. Now, this is a cipher system horror role-playing game from Montcook Games. And the Old Gods of Appalachia starter pack, $7.95, with a bonus collection. This is Eldritch Horror, based on captivating Old Gods of Appalachia anthology podcast by Steve Shell and Cam Collins. It is set in an alternative version of the Appalachian Mountains of the eastern US. Now, the Old Gods of Appalachia tells of the green, the dark, and things even more ancient, long before anything human roamed the earth. The Appalachians towered tall. For eons, these peaks intoned beams of malice and unknowable hunger. But now the mountains are mere hills, the prison walls are thin, and things that have slumbered are now restless. Call to people in the mountain hollows, whisper to those vulnerable to their temptations, and seek to influence our world. And this was a successful 2022 Kickstarter. It's very interesting. We have... so, you get to play a bunch of characters, family, community, places. It has everything, you know. You got your local miner, your charismatic preacher, outsiders. You know, you could be a reporter trying to debunk rumours of the monsters. Oh, those hillbillies. As if Washington, D.C. reporters ever leave the office to do a debunking story. No, they pull a woodwind and make everything up on the fly and just say, I'm a reporter, so I have sources. The source, of course, being the very people doing the framing, but hey, I'm the Washington Post. I have a reputation. Well, no, you don't anymore, but... well, this is role-playing game, so obviously, in the realm of fiction, reporters do get after us and do their job in physical person and not in the CGI studio. Never know, right? There might actually still be reporters out there, like the BBC. But who knows, right? Who knows? So, $7.95 gets you 3 titles in the starter pack. However, pay them above the threshold price of $16.72. Wow! This is a great price, and you get the entire bonus collection of 5 more titles. This is a tremendous value pack. And if you're into Cthulhu or just horror in general, tick the box and go, yes sir, I got just over 17 days to get together and visit my little holding. Every purchase goes towards something. So, well, but yeah, keep the site alive generally. But yeah, of course, the Appalachian starter, pay the minimum, get the usual price. We start with the player's guide and, of course, the core rulebook, 448 pages. Now, this was the winner of a 2021 Best Overall Podcast, and a Best Radio Drama, and so The Old Gods of Appalachia role-playing game is a standalone RPG powered by the Cypher system. It's an eerie alternative history of the Appalachian Mountains. You build your characters from the concept up, a descriptive sentence, some mechanical basics for skills, abilities, and resources. You got a narrative engagement, player-driven subplot, and you've got lore, creatures, NPCs, 2 complete adventures, and everything you need to experience your own stories of cosmic horror, personal hardship, and heart. Now, the core rulebook includes the complete Cypher system rules on character creation rules, the lore from the 1920s and 30s in Appalachia and guidance on other time periods, the bestiary and entities from the green, the dark, and elsewhere, some magic, some equipment, some adventures and adventurers, and more. Now, there's also the player's guide, everything you need to be a player, including 6 pre-generated characters. Then, of course, you have the Railroad Guide, the characters need access to route and schedule information. This is information. These are pocket guides on the railroad companies to help you navigate the railways, so you know where to go. It's a practical game aid. It's a map of the Lockheed Rail system, all their stops, tables, fares, and schedules. Even ads. Even the railways aren't benign, by the way. There is the Inner Dark still at play. Level up, which I recommend you do. You get the bonus collection. Now, Dig Your Own Grave is a character expansion. Helps you build more advanced characters that you'll never love or forget. Hopefully, you get to choose your own background, forge a backstory, and motivations that tie your character deeply to the setting. So you get choose 6 choose your path style characters. You've got some new descriptions and foci. So you can perhaps create a new tragic hero or some bonds of love, loyalty, or family that are constantly being tested. Best leave them to the ghosts alone. Is a horror game. Burying a childhood friend is never easy. But when someone you accidentally killed is now resurrected, we have all the O's, and this one's about you. Best leave them ghosts alone. It's an adventure set in a small town full of memories, ghosts, and promises unpaid. It's a one-shot adventure rife with atmosphere, horror, and emotion. This originally was a Gen Com event in 2023. Now, Old Goats of Appalachia decks, resource decks. You have encounters, objects, strange creatures, print and card deck with a selection of ciphers, artifacts, creatures, NPCs, and more. Now, the XP deck plays an XP for not for killing, but for challenges, protecting those close to them, uncovering the dark forces and inner plots. You might rack up XP, commonly received during play, and this gives you tokens to represent that where you trade for. Yeah, so now the GM screen. Useful charts and tables for the Old Gods of Appalachia RPG. All for a very reasonable price of $16.72. Tales of the Valiant. One price gets you the entire collection, $24.95. This is also a former Kickstarter from 2023 from Cobalt Press. This is a fantasy tabletop role-playing game. It is a well-polished, versatile alternative to Dungeons & Dragons that uses the Open Black Flag role-playing system. It is compatible with D&D 5th edition. You have lineages and heritage, which make every starting character different. Character classes get upgraded abilities like talents, wider spell selection, and martial actions. You have downtime activities, luck points, and more. Now, luck is actually something that I have actually worked on in the past. I think, I forget, is it in my first or second expansion for Future Fantasy? Yeah, I've got over 100 expansions, though, on my Patreon account. Sorry. Alright, so we have a bundle, $24.95, gets you 8 titles. Now, this is the player's guide on how to join the ranks of the Valiant, basically make a unique and legendary hero, select your talents, master improve spellcasting and martial abilities, explore downtime, exploration rules, social encounters, and a streamlined rule set to increase both risk and reward. Tales of the Valiant Master Guide enables you to build your world, craft your own adventures, and run your game. This is the Game Master's Guide with everything you need to world build, raise the level of exploration, social and combat encounters, advanced tools for maximizing the potential of these encounters, and homebrew original monsters. Now, of course, we have the Monster Vault, all the monsters you need for a Valiant adventure, and of course 5 adventures to get you started. And of course 5 adventures, 5 movies in my opinion, and you're getting 5 movies for the cost of 1 premium or 2, you know. And these days, adventure 1 weekend, so you got a lot of fun here. Next up we have Traveller Explorations. The starter pack $12.95 and a bonus collection. This is the revised edition from November 2022. It is the first of 2 offers featuring Traveller from Mongoose Publishing. This is everything you need to play a science fiction RPG campaign, from desperate battles across the stars against evil empires, through to free traders operating on both sides of the law, to mercenary companies desperate to find their next ticket. And this gives you options to explore the universe the way it suits you. Now, $12.95 gives you 3 titles in the core collection. Level up, which I recommend you do by paying above the threshold price of $29.61, and you also gain the entire bonus collection of 6 more titles. In the starter collection, we have the core rules book updated in 2022. Now, this is the not so far off future where you. This is updated, of course, version of the classic Traveller. There's new art and everything you need to create your Traveller. This is the updated from the original 2017 Mongoose Traveller, right? It's the 2nd edition. Behind the Claw is a sector book, sector of collection of stars. This gives you 2 complete sectors within the Traveller Galactic Empire. Far from the Imperial Core, between the frontier worlds of the Spedwood Marches and the trade hubs of Deneb. Fortune awaits the bold and disaster lurks for the unwary traveller. Now, the Spedwood Marches is the starting point for Traveller, and Deneb is sort of like the next stop, where you get threats from the border. Traveller, the Sword Worlds. Now, this is another area. This is just beyond the Imperial border, a distinct cultural region, long ago settled by refugees from a civil war. Theirs was a tough experience. They're strong, resilient, proud, and of course, they're slow to forgive. Now, you're basically out there to find the truth behind these reckless space-going chauvinists, or perhaps you technically outmatch them, or you're out there to learn their secrets. Whatever brings you to the Sword Worlds, there are lots of adventures, and there still may be other colonies that exist far beyond known space. Now, the bonus collection, which I recommend you level up to get, gives you 7 spacefaring races in the Aliens of Chartered Space Volume 1 and 2. Some are less detailed than others. Sandvik is a campaign set in the Sword Worlds as Sword Worlders. You're aboard the merchant cruiser Sandover, and on your way home, something goes bump in the cargo hold, and there's reputations to be made, hidden agendas to be uncovered, a tricky path to be threaded through the complex cross-border politics of the region. Provides backgrounds for the mission, the ship and a crew, opportunities for incidents, side trips, and mishaps. But at the end of the day, it's all about profit and protecting that profit. Don't like it? There's the airlock. Alright, 2 Spedwood Marches source books. Yes, more source books on Shield Worlds in the Spedwood Marches. Many of its Frontier Worlds are not Imperial members, making this space difficult at best and often hazardous for Imperial traders. There's various worlds of note. Some are backwater, some are corporations, and smaller private firms and operators move about. And there's surely a battleground here. and there. Deneb, a recovery mission gone wrong. Now, the planet managed to remain under the radar of chartered space. Mining companies brought bountiful hoards of precious crystals. However, there's dangerous water, but the people were happy. But that happiness didn't last. Now there's a missing ship. We're sent there on a simple recovery mission. But there's more to meets the eye. Can you help the people in their determined resistance, or will you leave them to their fate in the surrounding jungles? Traveller, so if you're into science fiction, it's a classic. It's a must. It's at least a must try once RPG. However, if you do get into Traveller and find it interesting, why not level up your gaming with something that takes you into a very powerful, epic adventure, Traveller Ancients. Explore the ancient mysteries of the Traveller universe in this epic adventure. Of course, to explore this epic adventure, you do need Traveller Rulebook. And if you haven't got it, $12.95 for the rulebook, and level up, which I recommend you do. You get a lot of bonus material. Now, the Ancients campaign takes you through 3 long scenarios. It sends travelers across the Spinwood Marches sector to discover millennia-old secrets of the inscrutable Ancients. Now, all these campaigns require the core rulebook, and of course, the Spinwood Marches Behind the Claw, which is the same bundle, will also help you. Now, for $17.95, you get all 3 titles in this campaign. Now, the campaign starts off quite simple. You have a poorly written poem. You go to check out Twilight's Peak, and you find that there might actually be something to this Ancients business. And once you deal with the various, I suppose, there's the the Museum of Ancients, the Tide-locked world of Lydia, and a showdown with agents of the Shadows themselves under the mountain known as Twilight Peak. And you find your proof. Now, this was originally based on the 1980s Traveller. Of course, this is updated for this is, though, for Traveller 2nd Edition. It's based on, but expands on classic Traveller. Right. That's the best way to describe it. Now, of course, once you've learnt the secrets of the Ancients, you find out they accomplished great works, moved whole planets, built titanic machines and wonders, and even transported humanity from the original home of Sol to 100 other worlds. They cared for the primitive planet. They uprooted the Vagar to sapience. Shouldn't that be sentience? But they vanished. 300 to 1,000 years ago, they speculated they fled known space, or self-deleted, or got deleted. However, whether or not scholars can solve the riddle or not, most people believe the Ancients are dead. However, they were wrong. They are, in quite fact, a legendary race of incredible, advanced, powerful beings who operate and often clash with secret facilities and factions in the Imperium. and have been shaping the destiny of charted space for quite some time. So now you have to deal with their wrath, I guess, finding out who they are. They're still around, and there's at least one ancient who's hell-bent on a reign of terror. You have to become powerful. You thought your little puny weapon. No. You have to develop superhuman abilities. So we're now going from the realm of science fiction into the realm of science fantasy, where travelers now can confront the sadistic researchers at the Imperial Space Research Station Gamma, go to a backwater planet where some ancient is building a giant war machine, and from there, put the man down. I mean, solve his issues. Politely. With a telepathic blast or two. Next we have Die the RPG. Now this is a meta-fantasy role-playing game from Rowan Rook. A complete core rulebook and 3 scenarios collection. The Die collection is $14.95. Right, this represents Die. Now this is Rowan Rook and Deckard. It's not just based on, it was created in parallel with the Die Image Comics series, of which there's 20 issues that ran from 2018 to 21 by Kieran Gillian and Stephanie Hans. In this you play a flawed and desperate real-world adults known as personas who are pulled back into a cursed role-playing game as teenagers year before, and you barely survived. Now, in a realm stitched together from your obsessions, dreams, and nightmares, your power play is known as called Paragons. Do you want to return to the real world or stay here where you can finally get what you want? Grievers. Alright, so yeah. This is a hugely successful 2022 Kickstarter. It's a black portal fantasy that sometimes gets all too real, known as a goth Jumanji sometimes. You play various roles, travel through Die, visit pocket dimensions inspired by various games and settings that you've loved. Each persona has ownership of one die that it can use to change a particular situation. Channeling your god's power, stealing techno magic, and feeding emotion into your arcane weapon or manipulating reality. Does the game end? You decide. Now you have all these scenarios that come with it. And now, if you buy this, you get a 15% discount on other products that ran. Now, don't exactly know. This is for Rowan Rook and Deckard's web store, and you'll find your discount code in your wizard's cabinet when you buy this. So you don't only get a discounted RPG, you get access to a discount on all of Rowan Rook and Deckard's material. Pay just $14.95 and you get Die the role-playing game based on and developed together with the Die comic. So you get various classic RPG classes with a weird riff and everything you need to play a game other than the dice, friends, and burning desire to get lost in a hell of your own creation. And of course it comes with 3 scenarios. You have the bizarre love triangle, something you often find in where you have a kingdom populated by ex-lovers with literal axes to grind. Vile things where luckless teenagers are trapped in a summer camp where isolation, deprivation, and cruelty are order of the day. And I go infinite. Oh my God, you're trapped in band camp. But next up, you're trapped in a collectible card game. And you only have a handful of cards in which to succeed with gunning strategy and paper-thin conveniences improvised on the fly. So that's volume 1. So it's not 5 scenarios, it's a collection of scenarios. Love is a Battlefield, again, is about strange conflict resolution. However, this time you're in a war game with a lover. Now, you journey through and answer questions that have been on your mind for years. Engage in otherworldly war in an army of toy soldiers. In Volume 3, you explore childish things in a fantasy world of your teenage years. Suburban home turned into a dungeon with robots and a bratty young master. And face sins of your past in a LARP. All in good fun, of course. You're not going to get your friends together and explore their dark secrets. No. You're going to explore the fictional ones here, right? You promise me you won't tease your friends and torture them with their teenage years. All right. So Shadowrun has a group of bundles soon coming to an end. But before they do, you can save yourself a fortune and get one of the best role-playing games out there. Shadowrun, of course, 5 is coming to an end. Shadowrun 6 is out. And, however, still, it does not make the past completely irrelevant. Especially if you haven't played Shadowrun before. 5 is a good kickoff. Now, this is a mega bundle, so $19.95 gets you quite the collection of 7 supplements. DRM3. Now, this does not have the core rulebook. You need Shadowrun Essentials for that. But here you have 5 sourcebook. Let's say 5. But here, you can pay it. Yeah. In all, there's 18 if you level up. Right. 7 in the base. And if you level up, pay the threshold price above 30.57. You also get 11 more titles. So, well worth the price for. Now, this is the Seattle digital box set. Everything you need to start in the... it's the main setting, right? Everything you need for the Shadowrunning capital of the world. Better Than Bad is about being a Robin Hood in the Shadowrun era. Now, you choose to fight for what you believe is right. This game is a guide on how to be a hood, and, well, you can also be a jerk thief. But, yeah, the whole idea is you right wrongs, and Better Than Bad comes with a setting, Pretoria in Africa. Now, Complete Trog is all about being an orc or a troll. They call you Trog. Let them think it's a smear. You're better than that. You're an orc. And what's better than an orc? A troll. Just ask them. Because if you tell them otherwise, the troll will teach you the fine art of skull crushing by demonstrating it on you. Now, this is a definitive guide to building, playing a troll, lifestyles, heroes and enemies of Trog culture, and of course plunge into Trog culture. In Shadowrun Coyotes, you are basically a customer. This is everything you need to know about the trained professionals who help you sneak across, talk your way through, or just blast your way through the borders. You dig deep to pay, but it's well worth the price if you get to see the checkpoint in the rearview mirror. Of course, if you don't, your worries are over, aren't they, chum? Now, this is a wealth of information on border crossings and and corporate security. It comes with a few coyotes and a border crossing adventure. The Neo-Anarchist guides are definitive guides to the Shadowrun universe. This one is for 2081. And it tells you everything about the players, the winners, the losers, the dark bargains, and desperate maneuvers of 2081. Everything you need to know. No future. So, little bit on the light side. It only has 9 pages of rules. The rest is background information on art, music, trend movies, and culture of the underground voices that demand attention. This is upgraded version for the 5th edition. However, there's a 6th edition version of this. 10 terrorists. Those with causes of blood who you confront, deal with their fallout, or infiltrate. And this can be used to increase the threat level of any Shadowrun game, as these people are willing to kill anybody, including innocents, in the name of their cause. Now, the bonus collection. Level up, which I recommend you do. You get the Shadowrun Book of the Lost. Now, this explores the intricate world of Shadowrun and turns stories and campaigns into memorable stories and campaigns by giving you plot hooks, adventure seeds, a treasure trove of ideas, mysteries, and enigmas. Now, Court of the Shadows is an alternative way to play Shadowrun. It gives you an alternative setting known as the Sealy Court. This is the realm of fairies. You live in the realm of humans. Now, the fairies could act upon the material plane, influencing it through dreams. However, now humans can enter the magical realm, and the magical realm, of course, is in calamity. And now that you're in the plane of fairies and the magic of the dream world, can you prevent its fall? These are city guides. You have Boot in the Sioux Nation, Metropole in Amazonia, and the San Francisco Metroplex after Gavin Newsom is finally out of power. And Shadowrun's in focus. Come on, folks, have a laugh. Alright, so these are 6 settings. You have Casablanca, Cheyenne, Morocco, and the Sioux Nation. Now, these are guides, but they read a bit more like adventures. But they are meant to be guides. But yeah, playable scenarios, basically, where you explore the world of Shadowrun. Next up, this is from a rebirth from 2019, the 5th edition expanded, where you get the core collection. $14.95 gives you the core rule books and level up, which I recommend you do. So for $14.95, you get the complete Shadowrun 5th edition core rulebook, quick start rules, 5th edition character conversion guide, the player's guide, and a cyberware catalogue. But pay the threshold price of $31.12, you level up and get the entire bonus collection of 8 more supplements. Shadowrun 5th edition, all you need to get started in the world of 2081. Run Faster is an indispensable player guide which basically gives you more options to run faster, including new races, fleshing out your characters, expanding contact rules, lifestyles, alternative character creation methods, build the character you want and get the most out of 5th edition. Now, Chrome Flesh is all about augmentations, whether it's cyberware, bioware, gene tech, or nanotech. Everything you need to juice up. Level up, which I recommend you do. You get Run and Gun, complete core rulebook for 5th edition on weapons, armor, and other modifications, as well as game options such as martial arts, unit tactics, and kill shots. Of course, there's gear to go with it. Shriek Grimoire, Advanced Guide to Magic. Data Trails, an advanced guide to the Matrix. Everything you need to be a tech decker or technomancer. Rigger, everything about jet planes, trains, and automobiles. The hardest runners are the ones who just keep moving, the hardest to hit. And of course, don't forget the drones. Forbidden Arcana is more advanced magic rules for Shadowrun, because basically, in a world where Geek the Mage is the first rule, the second rule is always bring a mage. And Howling Shadows is critters of the 5th edition Shadowrun world. Kill Code is advanced matrix rules. Now, of course, it does sort of read like also a scenario where your job is to know more about the people you're hunting and those who are hunting you. The Matrix is full of kill codes waiting to be executed. That's like the 6th world has many firearms. Your job is to make sure these kill codes are pointed in the right direction. Street level combat options. These grant you precise power. Now, this is all about maximizing combat skills and a truckload of firearms. Because unless you're a mage, the only way to geek the mage is to fill them full of lead. A reliable method indeed. Wonder if it works on the trolls and orcs. I think people have tried, but they're still around. Now, Shadowrun 5th edition missions. Everything you need for Denver and adventures in many other areas. Now, in the starter collection, $14.95, you get 3 standalone scenarios and 4 convention scenarios. Level up, which I recommend you do. Now, $14.95 gets you 7 missions, but level up and beat the threshold price of $30.95, and you get the entire bundle collection with 8 more source books. Now, the 3 standalone scenarios are exactly that. They do not connect. But they're playable, allegedly playable in any order. And you get 4 convention scenarios. Well, they take you. You got Seattle, London, the islands off the coast of Seattle, and I'm assuming that's Seattle. Most things are set in Seattle, but bonus collection gets you 5 more in the Cognitive Fragmentation Disorder campaign. This is Boston Lockdown, the game. If, for those who remember, there was a Shadowrun game that came out. I think it was called Boston Lockdown. Can't remember it. It was an online-only game, I think. You played, explored the cognitive fragmentation disorder, where people basically having schisms and new personalities emerging. There was a lockdown, a panic. You break into Neonet and find the cause, and then there's a huge market panic as information comes out about the CFD virus and the internal conflict and the corporate conflict going on. And as you know, things got bloody, and it deals not only with the lockdown, but of course the bloody war and its consequences. So it's quite the campaign. And you have another campaign, the Denver trilogy. This is the infamous city of Denver, which back in 2061 is where Shadowrun all started, when the great dragon Ghostwalker took over the city. And then in 2074, the city erupted into civil war. The Ghostwalker fought to a standstill with Harlequin. Then in 2078, Denver seemed to be at war with reality itself. And you start with the Serrated Edge, where Mr. Johnson hires a group of Shadowrunners to steal medical records. And after the records are revealed, you discover a plot in the Front Range Free Fire Zone. So then there's a false flag. You discover the culprit, but this might start another war in the Mile Hole City. And then, of course, it comes to an end where you have a wild ride through the Spore itself, where reality is tearing itself apart, and you have a chance to stitch it all together. $236 in total value for $30.95. A bargain. Of course, you do need the core rulebook. Last but not least, from the bundle of holding, of course, is Magical Kitties. Two is soon coming to an end. Kitty Pride $14.95 gives you a child-friendly RPG where you can guide your children through problem solving by role-playing. You play magical kitties in a post-human world. Then there are 6 scenarios. Right? You start with a basic core rulebook with a scenario case of the Cursed Mirror. It's a noir setting where you solve a mystery. And there is 6 hometowns: Alien Invasion, Fantasia, a Fantasy World, Kitty Noir, Mars Colony, Power Up, and the Wild Ones. Everything you need to play a magical kitty and teach your children the wonders of role-playing. Of course, I have my own Patreon with my own role-playing material. Of course, you can also get all the notifications on my videos, get some maps, and you help fund some art to enhance my RPG material for a future fantasy, a setting in the Pallades, the Empire of Elves. You write your own adventures, of course. I just give you the background on the setting and its technology and magic. Now, Drive-Thru RPG. Now, when you buy from the bundle of holding, most of what you get is linked to your Drive-Thru RPG account, but it's always downloadable on your Drive-Thru account. So, you also, however, everything you do buy here, especially exclusives, is in your... You've got to log in to use the site, but it does actually have a blog and a what's called the Wizard's Vault, which is revealed when you buy something that has all your purchases. Now, Gods of Titan from Arion Games is a role-playing game where you have a huge role to where the gods of Titan have a huge role to play in the fate of any hero, whether you're acting as a patron deity, accessing healing, or as the key enemy. The gods are omnipresent. This is about the gods of Titans, their priests, and more. Ideas for directors and players as a reference book for inspiration. Physical descriptions of 131 gods and their worships, the celestial courts, the priests on Titan, and more. Requires the advanced fighting fantasy, second edition called Rulebook. Would be helpful if they put that at the start, wouldn't it? But there it is, rule systems, yeah. Advanced fighting fantasy. And it's there too, boink. Yeah. Now, 4 Against the Darkness is an expanded edition. This again. This is from... This just says other systems, AI generated content. Right. From Ganesha Games. This is a new expanded edition of 4 Against the Darkness, their best-selling solo dungeon delving game. And this, of course, again, has made the best-selling list on ttrpg. And all you need is this book, 2 dice, and some grid paper. Choose 4 characters from a list of 20, equip them, and go through the dungeons. You fight monsters, manage resources, grab treasure, dodge traps, find clues, reveal secrets, and even accept quests from the monsters themselves. Your heroes power up if they survive. You power up if you survive, that is. So this brings you new classes, spells, foes, equipment, and environments, and 2 short ventures with tables to get you started. Now, this is compatible with all previous published supplements, and if you have the previous edition, this is the same game with bonus material, and they do have other material that goes along with it. Thundercats has 21 days to go. Everything you need to play a Thundercat. From Dynamite Entertainment, a hardcover rulebook that captures the excitement, drama, and adventure of the beloved series, which was both animated and in comic book form. This is the world of the Third Earth. Next up, last but not least, is Toon, the cartoon role-playing game, 2nd edition. Steve Jackson Games has updated Toon with artwork from the original version of Toon, from the original creators. They've expanded on the world of Toon. Everything you need to be wacky, where you this is falling off a cliff, but with one 6-sided die. Everything to be wacky, silly, and funny. With falling down, you create a slapstick where you have various attributes, qualities, and you have beliefs and motivations, you basically explore the world. You as the animator stage the scene and let the wackiness play out. And yeah, the Toon commandments. You're there to be funny. Act before you think. Checking the rules is slow and boring and tedious and should be avoided at all times. Commit to your bit. Repeal the laws of physics. Rules are there to be broken. Words are toys. When in doubt, recap. Keep an eye on the birdie, and everybody wins. Okay, so it is a Saturday morning cartoon, and I think if you haven't figured it out yet, this everybody wins attitude definitely was born out of the 1950s cartoons, where no matter what happened, their characters, nobody died, everybody got what they wanted except for the coyote. Well, poor coyote should have at least got a Christmas dinner, or at least a can of beans, right? But this is fully funded, as is Thundercats. It's highly successful, of course. But that's all. Everything is, don't forget, please, everything's brought to you by me, Future Fantasy. I'm not sponsored, although I do have an affiliate code for all purchases on DriveThruRPG through the links in the description. Other than that, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And, of course, please support the channel. You can support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon. Buy my books, buy my merch. All my links are in the link tree, which you'll find in the description below, in my profile, or scan the QR code on the screen. Thank you, everybody. See you in the next video, and bye for now.